Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I am Mariam Khanfar, a graduate student in the Griffith Lab in Washington University in St. Louis. And I'm happy to be here today. It's my first ISMB conference, and I'm excited to share with you our work on the CIViC Open Knowledge Database. As you all know, next generation sequencing has led to an explosion in the comprehensive molecular profiling of tumors by sequencing, where hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of molecular profiles have been generated for different types of tumors. With this explosion in the number of detected cancer variants comes greater challenge in the production, processing, and annotation of these variants, thus creating a bottleneck of interpretation and report generation for genome analysts, medical geneticists, and healthcare providers. In many cases, the clinical interpretations are stored privately with access and reuse restrictions. The interpretation have limited public provenance surrounding how they were determined and how they are updated over time. To address this challenge, we believe that a coordinated public effort is needed by following and implementing rigorous guidelines and procedures that are developed transparently with diverse input from relevant experts. This is why we created the CIViC database, which is an open source resource, which is an open access resource that provides a sophisticated interface for curation, moderation, and the dissemination of cancer variants interpretations. As new variants are identified and their clinical relevance is established, CIViC curators document evidence and interpretations from the supporting scientific literature. Curated evidence can be classified in different levels depending on the source they're created from. So as you see, from level A to C are the clinical data coming from clinical trials or reported case reports. Level D is data coming from preclinical studies, in vitro or in vivo experiments. And moving to the different types of evidences that we curate, we have ones involving predictive evidences involving a variance role in the therapeutic response to a drug. We also have diagnostic evidences, prognostic. We do curate for germline predisposing variants if they are associated with possible tumor occurrence. And lastly, we have the oncogenic and functional evidences that describe the variant's ability to induce cancer-like properties or impact the protein function or abundance. This is an example of a curated predictive evidence from a paper. In this paper, they report 25 patients with breast cancer with number of somatic variants being detected, including this one, which changes at position 777 from valine to leucine. And with some functional studies mentioned in the paper, they conclude that this is again a function variant that describes sensitivity to the irreversible kinase inhibitor drug neratinib in patients with breast cancer. So this is how we take a heterogeneous evidence from reported literature. We curate it in the database under the structured data model that CIViC has. The original model of CIViC allowed the curation, as you saw previously, of an evidence representing a single variant in a gene. As you can see, for example, a paper discussing a MYC rearrangement can be curated into an evidence, or an NPM1 exon 12 mutation can be also created as an evidence. However, we expanded to include molecular profiles, which allow to capture complex relationships between variants. So if there is a paper discussing or describing a MYC rearrangement and a BCL2 rearrangement and a BCL6 rearrangement at the same time, now we can capture that in one evidence item using the molecular profiles, as we can use variant and variant or not. We also have expanded the model to support non-gene features types such as fusions or factors like microsatellite instability, and regions that can represent gain or losses of some regions or long regions, such as, for example, a short arm of a chromosome. Currently, the region is not yet supported. It's going to be up in CIViC in use very soon. This is a quick video to demonstrate how we can use the interface I'm going to do it like really quickly. If you can click, if you search for anything like EGFR gene, you can see that there's a description, gene summary page that has all the linked resources and aliases. If you click for any variant that you're interested in, for example, this one, it takes you to the variant summary page with coordinates, transcript, my variant info, Lincoln, ClinVar, Nomad, Cosmic, ClinGen allele registry. Everything you need for that variant is linked here. If you click also down, if you go down, you can see the curated evidences for this molecular profile. You can click on any of them, and then that can show you a statement of the curated evidence that comes from this PubMed ID. It's also linked there. It shows you the type of disease, what the drug in question is, and what is the direction, which is a support for sensitivity for that drug. You can also go for assertions, which are a collective evidences making an assertion about this is a predictive assertion. As you can see, these are the curated evidences that have been used to make this assertion. For patients in lung non-small cell carcinoma have an EGFR mutation at this position sensitive to erlotinib drug. The open model of CIViC has allowed also for extensive integration and adoption into a diverse global set of at least 60 academic and commercial data sets, including OpenCravat, CBioPortal, and ClinGen, for example. To facilitate the use of variant data in clinical setting, a collaboration is ongoing between ClinGen and CIViC in order to create a comprehensive public knowledge base of high-quality assertion of somatic variants in cancer with the use of CIViC as the curation platform. As you can see here, the ClinGen Somatic Clinical Domain Working Group is organized as depicted here, with 3 task forces leading about 8 SCV subs, and by SCV subs we mean ClinGen Somatic Cancer Variant Curation Expert Panels. And these expert panels work by relying on expertise in their fields to provide high-quality interpretations by following a 4-step process, as you can see here, to gain an approval from the ClinGen Oversight Committee. You can see the newest edition of an SCV sub is the EGFRs. It's currently in step 1 of defining goals and scope. And we have 6 that are currently in step 2 of developing variant classification rules, and NTRK fusions is at step 3 with BILIT rules. In the early days, the majority of the contributions came from CIViC dedicated team of curators and editors, but over the past few years, the contributors have grown to include over 300 experts and curators. But if you can notice here, number of evidences or entries are being submitted much faster than our experts can handle, which has created a bottleneck of reviewers' bottleneck. And this has introduced an opportunity to use the natural language process, or AI, to assist with this. And thus, we are collaborating with several groups to incorporate AI approaches such as natural language process to help scale this effort. We are collaborating with Dr. Stephen Jones and Kara from University of British Columbia to do this. Our vision for this is to include fact-checking system as a tool available for CIViC editors, where all submitted entries will automatically be fact-checked upon submission, and source and a label along with the selected relevant fields will be provided to editors while they are reviewing the entry. This is a quick example to see how a hypothesis extension tool can be used to select statements and tag them to a CIViC entry. This is how they would look, and that's how the reviewers can facilitate this expert reviewing process. Finally, we have a promising results of this CIViC NLI work. We are seeing 88% accuracy rate, which is very nice. This is my last slide, shows the software availability, that our content is freely available without registration or login. It's under the public domain license of CCO. You can find documentation, GitHub links in these links. We'd like to acknowledge all the funding bodies. I would like to acknowledge the CIViC community, core CIViC team, and the entire Griffith Lab. Not sure if I have time for questions, but I would be happy to take some. Thank you.
Great job.
It was a lot to fit in 8 to 9 minutes.
I think we have time for one quick question.
Thanks. I was just wondering about sort of how easy it is to download your data and basically like API or FTP.
It's very
offerings that
easy
you
to
have.
download it as a bulk. You can download it in bulk as TSV or VCF files. You can refer to these documentations to also.
Okay, so this is all very like structured data. You don't have a
Yes.
lot of maybe more unstructured language data alongside this.
I wouldn't say no. Like everything is open access in an API interface, and if you want to download them, as I mentioned, it can be downloaded through these options, and you can refer to the documentation.
Thank you.
For more help. Thank you. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.